Hello, Geeks and Ghouls. For quite some time now, I want to read some Darcy Coates. I know that Mers from Harpies in the Trees is a big fan of hers, and I want to give her a try. Of course, I try not to buy too many new books. I fail at that, but still I try. Alright? I honestly try. So it was quite a blessing that I happened upon to get a book that has a Darcy Coates story in it. So it was a great opportunity to read it. The book is this one, Metal Chapters Volume 2, which is tiny, as you can see. Yes, that's the Greek version of it. The concept of this book is kind of interesting. There are two Greek guys, George Damsios and Marios Dimitriadis, who are horror authors and metalheads, and they decided to do a collaboration where they take metal songs they do like. George is more like a power epic metal guy. Marius is death metal, so they took various songs from their favorite metal bands, and they had volume 1 of stories based on those songs, and there was a guest story by Graham Masterton in volume 1. And in volume 2, and both books are available on Amazon, they took 5 stories from some international authors like Darcy Coates, Grady Hendrix, Yulha Lee, Paul Tremblay, and Adam Neville, and actually they had a band write songs about those stories, and they published it. So yes, if you're interested in songs that they base the stories in this one from, there will be a link for the book below, because I have to, to help my homeboys, I guess. It's Spectre by Judas Priest. If you don't know the track, it's from their latest album Firepower. Forward Momentum by Dark Tranquility. Endless For Most Beautiful by Nightwish. Disengaged by Suicide Silence. Echoes Down on Endless Hall. Deadlands by Gamma Ray, Buildings by Catatonia, Parda by Sabaton, Sacrifice Onto Sebek by Nile. You can probably guess who writes its story, right? To the End of the World by Elstorm, and Of Unworldly Origin by Revocation. And of course, there are the stories Mofongonos by Grady Hendrix, Echoes Down Endless Hall by Yulha Lee, The Dead Thing by Paul Tremblay, Clockwork by Darcy Coates, for which we'll talk today, and finally Hippocampus by Adam Neville. So I get why Mers from Harpies in the Trees, in case you don't follow her but you follow me, why the hell are you doing that? Go follow her now. Her channel is much better than mine. She's got mad editing skills and amazing photography. I get it why Mers loves Darcy Coates, because Darcy Coates have a very Mers energy. She is more into quiet horror, I guess, at least based on that story. It was a great story. I liked it a lot. She's more into quiet horror, I guess, in suggestive horror, and there are gruesome stuff happening in the story too, which I did like a lot. But yes, it's quiet, it's suggestive, and yes, it goes no crescendo, so I get it. I should probably look up her novels and see if any one of them strikes my fancy and read it at some point when I unhold some of these books behind me, right? Because there's no space for new books, and I'm getting new books. So what's the story about? What's the clockmaker about? We have this woman who is a clockmaker. Clockwork. She's repairing clocks. So what's this clockwork story is about? It's about a woman who is fixing clocks, and the story begins with an old man taking her to his home so that she can repair a room full of clocks within a week. She gives her £20,000, $10,000 I believe, 20,000 monetary units check. And since Darcy Coates Australian, it may be Australian dollars or it may be pounds, and there's a huge difference between those two, but whatever. a lot of money, and tells her that you should probably there is no penalty for not fixing them within a week. And there are a ton of mechanical clocks, and each one of those clocks is ticking in a different no, they're not synced. So she starts setting the clocks, and she is impressed by how exquisitely beautiful they are. She finds the kind of peculiar that there's no maker on those clocks, but she starts to sync them, and over time she gets into a trance. She cannot sleep, she cannot eat, she goes home exhausted, and sleeps for a while, then returns. She gets in tune with those clocks, she gets obsessed that she should fix the clocks by the deadline, and she starts to lose time, which is ironic and quite interesting. I mean, even the state of her going losing herself into this work, into this process, into this geekiness of her of fixing clocks is an interesting and horrifying theme. And there comes the twist. Again, all of those stories will be spoiled for you, so skip to the end of the story if you want to, but I don't think I have a lot to say about the story. It's it's a one and done. So at the end of during her fixing of the clocks, she discovers that a couple of them are made of some weird sort of leather. So by the end of the process, the old man who was, he was missing for most of the week that she was in the room fixing those clocks, comes in and basically makes a clock out of her because she synchronized them, so he can make a clock out of her skin and bones and put it on the wall. And that was the twist of the story. And this works quite well. I have to admit that I didn't quite see it coming, but then again, it was interesting. It was set up quite well. It was very subtly set, and yeah, the twist is interesting. It's cathartic in a way. I can feel for the protagonist. It's quite interesting and original in its own way. It's a good story. It's a fun, good story that left me pleased, and I want to read more from the author. So yeah, that's it. I get why she has so many fans. So yeah, I guess can you suggest me any of your novels in the comments, because I like the story and I want to read more of her books. All right. So yeah, that was my review for the story. Again, we're nearing the end of this month. Wish I could speak more about those stories, but I sat down, I chose some to read, some to reread. This one was a fresh read, and yeah, sometimes there is not a deep dive you can do in a story. That's the real deal. It's an interesting story. It works because of how interesting it is, how it juxtaposes the theme with the psychology of the characters and with a twist, and that's it. That's a solid horror story, and if you get upon it, give it a read. It's fun. As always, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with another short story. Bye bye.